Okay, welcome to the meeting, everybody. I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. We just ask that you please rename your Zoom name to your full name and the organization you're with. If you're a resident, you can put the letter R. And for roll call, I'm just going to go down the list as it appears on my screen. And when I call on your name, if you can please unmute and say which organization you're with. At the end, I will be introducing those on the call from the Port of Stockton. So first up, we have Chuck.
Chuck DeYoung with H.J. Baker.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi.
Welcome. And then we've got David's cell.
David Atwater, Chair,
Hi,
Port
Commission.
Commission.
Hi, welcome. And then Denise.
Hi, I'm here.
Welcome, Denise. And Denise is with the Dream Foundation. And then we have Pat.
Hi, folks. I was going to say, I'm muted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Pat from Mineral Valley Community Garden.
Welcome, Pat. And then we have Abigail.
Hi, everybody. Abigail Struxness. I'm with SSA Marine.
Thank you, Abigail. And next we have Adria or Audria.
Hi, Adria with Little Manila Rising.
Hi, Adria. Welcome. And then we have Ariella.
Good afternoon. My name is Ariella Serrano, youth organizer with Little Manila Rising.
Welcome. Next, we have Gloria.
Hi, everyone. Gloria with Little Manila Rising.
Thank you. Welcome. And then we have Joe Carrillo.
Hi, everyone. Joe Carrillo with SSA Marine as well.
Hi, Joe. Welcome. And then we have Nate. Nate, would you like to unmute and say which organization you're with? Okay, we can come back to you, but welcome. And then we have Margot.
Hi, this is Margot Prouse. I am a resident. I'm part of the AB 617 group and chair of local Delta Sierra.
Welcome, Margot. And Rocio.
Rocio Calderon with the Valley Air District.
Welcome. And then we have Shazad, or I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Shazad. I'm a youth organizer with Little Manila.
Welcome. And Tanisha.
Hello, this is Tanisha with Catholic Charities.
Welcome. And then Nate, I see you've got your camera on.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm representing the Central Valley Asian Chamber, non-associates of the Downtown Columbia Club. Unfortunately, I can only stay for a few minutes because I have a rescheduled Central Valley Asian Chamber meeting coming up soon. So I'm joining you at the beginning on my phone in my car. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. And then with the Port of Stockton on the call, we have Vice Chair Commission David Atwater, Kirk DeJesus, our Port Director, Jeff Wingfield, Deputy Port Director of Regulatory and Public Affairs, Jason Cashman, Director of Environmental Affairs, Sylvester Aguilar, our Real Estate Marketing Manager, Karen Romero, and myself. And I don't think I missed anybody. Did I, Jeff or Karen?
Yeah, Joey.
Joey, of course. Sorry. Joey, would you like to introduce yourself?
That's fine. Yeah, this is Joey Veltri. I'm with Associate Director with Cafe Coop.
Awesome. Welcome, Joey. Okay, I will turn it back on over to you, Jeff. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate it. And I know it's on a different day this month, and we appreciate you accommodating our schedule. A couple of us just got back from DC last night. We were back with the One Voice Coalition. So it's the local counties and cities. We all went back to advocate for federal funding for transportation projects for the most part. But there was a lot going on. Yesterday, we met with Congressman Harder. We also met with Senators Padilla and Schiff, and they had to run because they were in the middle of voting on the waivers for clean trucks as well as zero emission vehicles for California. Some of you probably saw that in the news today. It was an overall good trip. The port has already kind of laid the groundwork for everything that we need from dredging and zero emission equipment, et cetera. But it was a good opportunity to follow up and meet with folks and get input and provide further information about some of our projects and our priorities. So thank you for accommodating the next day. Today we've got port updates. We've got updates from our real estate department as well. And then we'll have one of our tenants, which is SSA Marine. We'll provide an update on the work they're doing and all the sustainability efforts that they're making. And so real quickly, I'll give some updates. Recently, on a cold, wet Sunday, we were out at Victory Park for Earth Day. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't as accommodating as we had hoped, but it was still a pretty good turnout out there. We handed out about 400 plants. Typically, we hand out tomato or bell peppers or something like that. We talk about some of our programs, and then we were pushing the tenant jobs board as well, which is we've been putting a lot of effort into. And in fact, on April 11th, we had a tenant jobs board lunch and learn for our tenants. So one of the things we're really pushing is trying to get 100% of our tenants involved in that program. But the day that we had, April 11th, was very successful. We had probably a dozen tenants attend. We've had additional tenants sign up since then. Currently, there are 10 jobs that are on the jobs board, which is the highest number we've had so far, which is exciting, and we're still reaching out to tenants to get them signed up, to get them aware of the program and the opportunities that are there. And so we're very excited about that. And in fact, Julia just had an opportunity to share and get one of our tenants signed up yesterday. And so Julia, if you could share just real quickly about your work with RTW there.
Yes, so Greg Smith with RTW Logistics reached out. He has a open position, warehouse analyst. And so I was able to go out to his office location just about a mile away from our office and help him create a profile and then also help him post the job. And it looks like a really great job. If anybody knows anyone looking for a warehouse, it's kind of a high level warehouse position, please spread the word. And I was also able to take a tour of a beautiful warehouse, and they do organic feedstocks for organic chickens. So I thought it was a really great experience. And any tenants on the call, I'm happy to come out to your location and help you sign up. And then, yeah, you could just spread the word. And then I think Karen is putting the link to the jobs board in the chat, and there are tutorials to sign up for tenants and job seekers. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Great. So we'll probably have RTW present in the not too distant future. But also just if there are any other tenants on today that have not had the chance to sign up, please reach out to us if there are any. We want to make this as simple and easy as we can. And our goal is by the end of the year to get 100% of our tenants signed up. So if you don't sign up now, we will come knocking and with every make it as easy as possible for you to get signed up. So please reach out. And for the rest of you, please continue to pass on the word. We've got, I think, how many folks do we have signed up? Do we have like 600 of the public that are signed up on the jobs board at this point, Julia?
Yeah, just over 600, and I haven't checked since Earth Day. So
okay. Well, great. So that's we appreciate. We know that you guys have got the word out, and we definitely appreciate that. And we want to make good job opportunities available for the local community. So that is one of our big pushes for this year. Coming up, we also have the Washington Elementary 8th grade dinner dance. That's going to be next Tuesday, May 27th. So the port, through the proceeds that we've received through our golf tournament, have been able to do a lot of great things for the local community. One of those things is to be able to provide this opportunity. We're paying for the entire evening for the class. And then one of our other tenants has also stepped up to be able to sponsor the DJ for that event. So we're hoping that's going to be very successful for them and continue to work with Washington Elementary and help support them. And then we have our second annual golf tournament that's coming up June 9th. We're really excited about that. It's just 2 short weeks away. So we've got, it just was sold out actually this morning. So we're excited for that. It's a great opportunity. A lot of our tenants, a lot of our consultants and contractors have stepped up to come and support that. And so we're hoping to raise, between $25,000 and $30,000 again to help support things like the Boggs Tract Community Center, the Edible Schoolyard, and Washington Elementary. So one of the things we just were able to do recently was to provide additional funding, and I don't want to take any away from Sylvester, so I won't say anything else.
You're stealing my thunder.
So yes, that's exciting, and we're looking forward to our second golf tournament. And then coming up in June, I believe it's so we go out to the Native American Center, and I think that's at Edison High School, where it's a summer program for students, and we've gone out the last few years and done an OWL presentation, and then also get a chance to talk to the students about the importance of ports and about what we do here in Stockton, because it's the best kept secret in town about what we do. So we like to get out and share the great opportunities that a port provides, potential job opportunities in the future for these students, and try to at least put goods movement and ports kind of in their mind as far as looking for potential job opportunities. And then we've got, yes, here we go. We also did a Clean California Cleanup Day. Many of you here came out. That was on April 19th. We had a great turnout. It was a beautiful day. We had about 40 volunteers. The mayor came out and we cleaned up several thousand pounds of trash at 2 different locations within Boggs Tract. And the exciting thing, at least for me that day, was we started to see a lot more involvement from the local community and folks peeking over their fences to see what we were doing, to ask questions, and to come find out how they could be a part of our community cleanup efforts. So we're going to continue to push that out to the folks who live in the neighborhood and get them to come out as well. So we were really excited about that. And then finally, we had PwC. I think a lot of you know about them. They deal in renewable fuels and provide a lot of the feedstocks for some of the refineries in the Bay Area. We had a ribbon cutting. They built a new berth out at berth 8, and that's going to be specifically for renewable fuels and feedstocks. So very exciting project. We had Congressman Harder come out, good representation from the building trades, our commissioners, and it was just a great opportunity to celebrate a great project for the port and to, in the renewable fuels side. So we were very excited about that. And then I think the press release is going to be put into the chat. Really quickly, I think Daniel Orozco's on. He's our grant management or grant specialist. He's going to give a real brief update on our EPA Clean Ports.
Thanks, Jeff. Yes, just giving a real quick update on our EPA Clean Ports. I know there's been a lot of speculation and just wonder of how this administration is going to handle this new grant. From our understanding, as well as Jeff's and our insiders, is that the grant is proceeding as planned. The funds are not at risk of being rescinded, and the port currently is working with its partners to finalize agreements, and as well as finding other consultants to move forward this monumental grant that will transform the port. So everything's moving forward, and we're planning for big strides in the upcoming quarters.
Great, thank you. And we have talked to other ports as well in California and throughout the country as far as folks who have been submitting for reimbursement. And from what we're hearing, there have been no hiccups lately with getting that funding. So we're hoping that that trend continues. And then kind of a new feature, we're going to include Sylvester Aguilar to give a brief update from our real estate side. So Sylvester.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for not stealing the whole thunder on the Edible Schoolyard. I'll start with Edible Schoolyard. Yes, proceeds from the golf tournament were able to help the group build a fence on the south end of the property where unfortunately there was a very old fence and very large dogs that were encroaching at inappropriate times when we had kids out there on the farm. So that's it's a beautiful fence, and it's up and keeping the kids safe there. They've got several activities that are going on. If you're not aware, they just had their Farm Festival Spring Fling, which was on the 26th. On the 21st, they have an additional function, the Fruit Jam function. On 8/2, August 2nd, they'll have their Summer Festival, and 10/12 they have a Fall Festival, and which is their opportunity to engage the community, the schools, and everyone around to come out, see the farm, and actually see what kinds of training they'll have training classes for cooking and learning and all kinds of things at those events, and they've been extremely well attended. So we're very happy that we have some port property that are going to great community services out there. The other thing is they've also decided to reduce the size of the plots that are essentially leased out at low dollar amounts for the neighborhood to teach them how to grow their own vegetables and things. So by reducing the size, they've been able to make it a little more manageable size-wise, because if you've ever planted that many plants, it's a lot of work. So it's a little more manageable from a physical side, and then it's a little more manageable on the economic side for the neighbors, so that they anticipate a lot more participation from the neighbors. So we're pretty happy about that. And I just want to say that the second opportunity to do air quality monitoring on the property is taking place now. Since the 24th of April, we have a new trailer on site, a new vehicle on site that's monitoring over by the Lindley House. The air quality folks have selected that site, and we're happy to have them out to give us word as to if any potential air quality issues that are occurring on the port at any given time. So we thank them for coming out and giving us that opportunity to help partner with them. From a business side, currently we have one of our biggest projects in construction and moving swiftly, and that's Home Depot. We have the distribution center that has been on full speed ahead for the last 23 weeks already. They did experience some small minor delays in weather, approximately about 39 days, but they're still on track and ahead of schedule because we had some great weather. I mean, they had weekly meetings that include the weather reports, and it's just a very, very systematic process that's going on. And we're very excited about the job creation that's coming out of that project, which will be at least 150 jobs coming up. So I can't tell you how many are out there trying to work at various stages of the construction already, but we're excited about that project, and we hope that everybody else is, and it creates opportunities for great jobs to be put on the board before long. And then I had one other thing. Oh, I forgot that we are also trying to help the Edible Schoolyard research the opportunity of potentially going to well sources for water out there. The current structure under Cal Water is very expensive, so we're trying to make them a little more self-sustaining with their own well, and going through that process and assisting with the bidding and the water quality research that's going on there. So that's kind of what I have for today.
Great. Thanks so much. And yes, and those the Trammell Crow project and the edible schoolyard potentially will converge at some point. You know, we've got community benefit funds from Trammell Crow that they've asked us to help with, and so one of the things that we're targeting is potentially that well for Trammell Crow to help fund, and some other things over at the school as well. So all good stuff, and so thanks, Sylvester. I appreciate that. And I would just say the edible schoolyard, if you haven't been out there, please make an effort to go see what they're doing. I got the chance to go out there on a Wednesday where folks were lined up to get fresh fruits and vegetables, and it was really impressive. And it's also got the attention of our board, and so we're going to do what we can to try to elevate and put a spotlight on that project. So whether it's continuing to focus on them in our newsletter, or potentially do a small video about the project, it's such a cool opportunity for the area, and it is such a food desert in the Boggs Tract area that it's just so needed. So please, if there's any opportunities or ways that you think that the port could help out with the edible schoolyard, I know Mary Elizabeth has been vocal about the well. And we appreciate that. That kind of put it on our radar, and so we've been focusing on the well installation with Chris and the folks out at Edible Schoolyard. So it's been really good. Okay, is any questions on any of our updates? All right, I don't see anything. All right, well, let's get right to SSA. They're one of our tenants and one of our partners, and have been great to work with moving into the zero emission world. They sometimes will push us. We've been busy. We've been busy installing fast chargers for our zero emission forklifts. We replaced. Thank you, Mary Elizabeth. The Delta Aquatic Center. Yes, we have been talking about the Aquatic Center and about the work they're preparing to do over there. And I don't know, Mary, if you have an update on kind of the status of that project, but I know that one of our commissioners is involved, and he was making it clear to us that yes, we should be involved. So I don't know, Mary, if you have any updates on what the Aquatic Center's doing that maybe you could share.
I'll send one over tomorrow. I've got a bunch of grading papers in front of me right now.
Okay, no worries. I know that as well as I think it was rowing, and they've got they're going to do some water quality monitoring.
The Black Urban Farmers is going to be out there, and some other organizations. So it's going to be multi benefit for many aspects of our community, and open to the public, and provide, that necessary aquatic access that we are really lacking in Stockton, despite having so many rivers.
Yeah, great. All right, so there'll be more to come on that as well. So I'd just like to turn it over to SSA to give us an update on some of their sustainability operations. They were a partner. They've been a partner now with us on a couple different really exciting grant opportunities. They're always willing to kind of push the edge of the envelope with us. And so I just wanted to turn it over. And I would also say that while Abigail is going to go first, Joe Carrillo just won a World Sustainability Award for the work he's been doing and pushing SSA to reduce emissions across their entire California operation. And so just a huge congratulations to Joe on winning that award. He was just notified at the Break Bulk Europe conference. We all pushed very hard for him and have recognized and realized the work that he's been doing and the load he's been carrying in California to reduce emissions. So we're really proud of Joe for all that work, and look forward to more exciting things to come. So with that, I will turn it over to SSA and to Abigail.
Great. Thank you, everybody. My name is Abigail. I'm the Director of Sustainability at SSA Marine, based here in Seattle. But I will say I was in Stockton in February and was perfect timing because all the almond trees were in blossom, and it was wonderful to be down there. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. I'm not a Zoom native, so please let me know if you're seeing the slides. Are those popping up for the group?
No, we have BWC ribbon. There you go.
Okay. And are you seeing the full or are you just seeing the presenter mode?
We're seeing still the presenter mode.
Okay. How about now?
There you go. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I think, I'm going to speak a little bit to SSA Marine and our sustainability program at a broader level, and some of the work that we're doing at the corporate level. Right now, the presentation is just going to be focused on our emissions reduction efforts. So we obviously have the social and governance elements of ESG, but really for now, we'll be talking about emissions reduction. So in terms of SSA Marine, we are a global independent marine terminal operator. We have facilities here in the US, but also in South and Central America and Asia. We operate container terminals, including at the Port of Oakland, cruise, and then of course the conventional cargo handling as well. And we're really proud. So you'll see SSA Marine, throughout the presentation. You'll also hear the name Carex, which is our parent company. And so across SSA Marine and Carex, we're really proud of the work that we've been able to do over the years, largely in part because of local champions like Joe Carrillo to get projects off the ground at locations like the Port of Stockton. So as of now, we have over 200 pieces of zero emission vehicles and cargo handling equipment in operation. We've generated a significant amount of solar energy via rooftop solar panels, including one right up the road. We're transitioning to LED lighting in our warehouses and at our terminals. And then we'll talk about this more, but grant funding is a huge enabler for us to deploy new equipment and emissions reduction projects. So, we've been a subrecipient on a number of projects over the years with over $200 million of funding secured for sustainability related projects. So we've set some emissions reduction targets. We're really proud that last year we achieved our first goal, which was a 15% company-wide reduction of greenhouse gas emissions compared to our 2021 year. And since we hit that target, we've set even more ambitious goals for the midterm. So by 2030, our intention is to reduce our emissions by 35% from our 2022 baseline. And then in about 10 years, our intention is to reduce our emissions by 50% from that 2022 baseline. So we'll build off of the 15% to get to that 35 and then onto the 50%. The way we calculate our emissions is on an intensity basis. So if our volumes increase, we're factoring that into our overall emissions calculations as well. So how are we going to get to those targets? We think about reduction in Scope 1 greenhouse gas emissions and Scope 2. So our Scope 1 emissions are directly related to our fuel consumption, and then our Scope 2 emissions are related to electricity and consumption of electricity that's non-renewable. And we know that every location is a little bit different depending on, the partnership that we have with the port in terms of who's paying for different elements of the power. But what we did was we developed 7 different measures to reduce our emissions. And this is kind of seen as a menu that different terminal locations can consider when they're building out their plans. So the first is engine efficiency, upgrading older equipment, replacing engines or purchasing new equipment has a significant benefit to emissions reduction because we're reducing our fuel consumption and improving our fuel economy. The second is use of renewable fuels. So across California, we're utilizing renewable diesel, which has a lower emissions factor as well. The big one is electrification. So we're thinking about electrification of both of the cargo handling equipment as well as the terminal vehicles. So things like pickup trucks or mechanic vans, looking at options there too. Hydrogen, we have on the list, but we don't have any active projects. And frankly, this is a fairly low priority for the company right now. But we do see it as, you know, a potential technology for zero emissions, but nothing active there. And then moving over to scope 2, so I mentioned LED upgrades to reduce our electricity consumption, also on-site solar as an option, and then purchasing off-site renewable energy via a purchasing agreement. All right, so I'll turn it over to Joe to talk a little bit about some of the successes and challenges we've had with some of our electrification deployments in Northern California.
Thank you, FBO. Yeah, my name is Joe Carrillo. I'm the regional VP for Northern California, and I've been in the Valley, Central Valley, and in Stockton since 2016 of December. You know, bringing on these projects, like these pictures you see here, that's a 36,000 pound machine that's can pick up 18 tons of cargo. The white machine there, that's the Port of Stockton's. They have 12 of those machines. And we started this whole journey back in like 2018 with the port. And the first one was actually presented back in January of 2020. And now that being said, in our operations today, we have 24. So we have 12 and they have 12 working at the Port of Stockton. Has there been challenges like Abigail mentioned? Yes, there's been a lot of different technology advances for the last 5 years, and I want to share just kind of in verbalizing a little bit of what we faced. For example, the first number 1 beta, it lasts about 5 hours. You know, today the machines can go up to 12 hours without a charge. So in a 5-year period, we went from a 1 battery type, we'll call it 1.0. Now we have battery type 5.0. So it's changed 5 times over the way the battery is in the machine and the way they're transforming more energy in a smaller state of space on the machine. So other things like Jeff mentioned earlier, infrastructure and also charging infrastructure and charging machines themselves. There was not many when we first started. There was, I think, ChargePoint was the only one we had in the very beginning. It was the only one that was a DC fast charger. Now there's probably 30, 40, 50 different brands you can purchase. But being strategic about it, is what we've done in the last 5 years with the port. And thank you, Jeff and Kirk and the port and commissioners at the Port of Stockton, because without like having partners like the port, we couldn't even start this type of project. And it was one of those items back in 2018, 19, where we collaborated with an idea. It was just an idea, and it turned into creating this kind of chain reaction to represent, like Abigail mentioned, 200 plus zero emission type equipment throughout our organization, and the majority of them are in California, from Southern California up to Northern California. So that being said, I mean, the biggest the challenges we had was just the timing, always comparisons to the diesel forklift versus an electric forklift, which is brand new technology. That was always a factor. Service levels, at times there's service levels because, they put the buggy before the horse, like the phrase, because a lot of times they want to get that machine out there. These big machines are also a little different than a little smaller machines we have in operations today. I'll show you a couple in a minute, but just having new technology and trying to match that up with the day-to-day operation for maritime use, it was very challenging. There was a lot of different movements and a lot of different operators. I'll give you a good example. On that white machine you're seeing on the picture, it can be in a 40-hour work week. You can probably have out of a 5-day work week, you can have 5 different operators on that machine. So trying to get to understand the movements of the operation and each operator, sets up challenges for machines that are in new technology mode with a memory like a computer versus like a diesel engine. So that was something that we found that was challenging, but little by little we continued to move forward. And we can share the next slide, Abigail, please. That'll be great. And this is one of, as we worked at the Port of Stockton since, like I said, 2018 on a large capacity forklift. It kind of enabled us to keep moving forward. And like, okay, as we started in the Port of Stockton, people started to hear about like our new equipment we were procuring as a partnership and then moving into zero emission. And it started to continue to grow and develop throughout California, primarily. Other states have some, but for the most part, throughout California, and then internally in my organization, people were like, it's not going to work. What's going to happen? And little by little, we kind of proved them wrong at the Port of Stockton. Like we're working toward perfection, right? I mean, that's the reality. Nothing's perfect when it comes out of the box. We've been working really hard these last 5 years on creating a sustainable machine to handle like all of our commodities. The majority of all our commodities are called break bulk form, either bagged cargo like fertilizer or bagged rice or industrial steel that we have to maneuver, long pipe, different coils. We have different coils that go to different companies, either local or also like moving up to Nevada and right the states near us. But moving in this direction, we found that, yeah, I mean, we're moving, like Abigail said, it's both an efficiency side and also sustainability side for both levels. And I think the sustainability side really was weighted heavy in the beginning, and little as we move forward, the efficiencies are starting to reap its reward with the better batteries and then less downtime. But it's taken 5 years, and it's still a work in progress. And that's something that I wanted to share today. And this was a project we just finished. Our first, we work at a fruit dock in the Port of LA, and it's a seasonal job with about I think like 17 vessels per year. And I was privileged to go down there and be with Abigail and the team to basically we have 44, I think it's 44 forklifts that are 10,000 pounds and below that are all zero emission. And that's our first kind of terminal that has all zero emission equipment. But that's not to say that the Port of Stockton, and thanks to they're always looking after partnerships and how can we continue to reduce emissions and these clean port grants. We're going to be right on their tails, Jeff, to continue to grow upon our fleets out here in Stockton. So I think that's about it. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to. Oh, I'm sorry. We have one more and maybe Abigail can help with this one, or you can go ahead, Abigail.
Sure. Yep, it was a perfect segue, Joe, to talk about EPA Clean Ports. So we are thrilled to be a subrecipient with the Port of Stockton for the Clean Ports Award. It'll fund about 30 pieces of zero emission cargo handling equipment for our operation at Stockton, which is truly transformative for our fleet. And, really, Joe hit on it too, but having this partnership with the port in order to secure federal or state or local funding has been so critical to the projects that we've already done, and then as we're looking towards future projects. So exciting news. I'm glad to hear your update, Daniel, that we think that the funds are obligated officially, and we're ready to get rolling on that work. And we have a big advantage, I think, with this project because there's already some charging infrastructure in place, and it'll enable us to deploy equipment faster. So we're thrilled with that. The other thing to throw out there is that we've gone through the Green Marine certification at the Port of Stockton since 2023. It's a really great program, specifically tailored towards the maritime industry, and it allows us to show our environmental performance above and beyond the regulatory environment. And there's, a lot of opportunities for us to strive to the next level and implement new programs. And it's a good way to help us benchmark ourselves against our own performance year over year, and then also with our peers in the maritime industry. So we're excited to be certified in Stockton. All in there. Thanks so much.
Great. And yeah, Joe, you might want to just talk. Joe talked about, the different versions of all of the batteries and everything, where The partner that we've chosen so far has been Wiggins and XL Lifts to purchase our forklifts from, and they've been a good partner, and they're actually in the process now of upgrading on their own dime all the batteries. And so, Joe, I don't know if you wanted to kind of touch base on that at all.
Sure. I mean, overall, I mean, the first, I'd say, let's see, 24 machines in Stockton, they had the 1.0 and 2.0 batteries, which weren't as efficient as the ones that are, we'll say today, 5.0 batteries. So the partnership was able to continue to basically use warranties, or even outside of warranties, say, look, we want to move forward and help this project continue to go in the Port of Stockton. So as we speak, they're finalizing some of these first 12 forklifts we had in the beginning, like they're like 1.0 or 2.0 batteries, and they're just changing them all out so we can run more efficient as a group in the Port of Stockton. And that's like a huge advantage by being early adopters, but yet having partners that would actually transition some of these batteries out, not on a cost to the port or us. So that worked out really well, and little by little, they're every upgrade or every next model year, we'll call it, they're getting better and better. And that's not just with like XL Wiggins. We're looking at now there's more people on the market. So as the Port of Stockton and SSA worked hard on these large capacity forklift types, we basically ended up pushing the market as well to get more and more like the other manufacturer like Hyster and Kalmar and Taylor to up their game, to say, hey, we need competition. We need to make sure we're moving in the right direction. So not only did we grow zero emission equipment throughout California and further on in about 4 or 5 more states, we're changing the way the industry works and operates with newer, cleaner equipment that's gonna come out in the near future as well. So thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, and as far as just you talk about competition, I mean, when we're looking at EPA clean ports. I mean, there's all the Buy America and provisions and the agreements, and there's only really 2 manufacturers in the U.S. that produce this type of equipment. So we're hoping to see more of that, because that will drive competition. It will drive better performance of the equipment, and so yeah, we're looking forward to that as well.
No, and that's the last thing to add, Jeff. One thing to comment on is the Port of Stockton and SSA, like there's no date to like change our diesel forklifts in Stockton. So we kind of said, let's go for it. Let's be the forward thinker like the port is, and us as a partner. Let's change it sooner than later, and that's kind of kickstarted our journey. And it's with partnerships and the communities where we operate to know that, hey, we want to continue to try to find those efficiencies wherever we can in the business, and where it can be cleaner and operate in a smoother fashion.
Yeah, and at some point we're hoping, and it may be now, but we still need to look at the data, is we're hoping that this equipment will not only be cleaner, but more cost effective to operate. And then at some point, our operators will actually appreciate this equipment and choose it over a diesel counterpart.
That's a great point. And then we saw that too as well. It's one of those kind of fundamental changes as human nature has it. It takes a little while to transition from one to the other, because they do maneuver differently a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one thing XL and Wiggins has been really good about too, is making adjustments. There were a lot of adjustments that had to be made at first, because this equipment does operate. I mean, it's differently than a diesel, and I mean, it's just like when you drive like a electric car versus a gasoline powered car. They operate differently, and so the manufacturer has worked with us really hard to try to make this equipment as similar to what the operators have been used to be able to make that transition easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. That's another good example. Imagine trying to drive like a standard vehicle with a clutch versus what's it called? A shifter with drive motor.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different, right? Similar in nature. and it's just getting used to the change.
Yeah. And that's been tough. I mean, we work in an industry where, you know, people like things the way they've had them in the past, and then to get everybody to change and get on board to make that change, that lift has been as hard as almost anything else, I would say.
Yeah, it's been a you know, every aspect has been challenging but also rewarding because everyone sees the change and they see the benefit and they continue to see the benefit, and not only that in just the machine itself, but just overall livelihood out there when they're starting to learn more about new technology.
Yeah. I haven't been able to look. Are there any questions? Are there any hands? I can't see the people. Julia, do you see any
No.
hands or anything?
No, I don't. Not on my end.
One of the things, Joe, just from one of the pictures that you showed, you know, we've got a lot of, so the port's the one who has the responsibility for all the charging infrastructure. And one of the slides that Joe was showing was had all the chargers inside one of our warehouses. And that was, we had to do that initially because it was really tough to find locations that would work with power that was close by. And so now with the EPA Clean Ports funding, we're hoping to get all those chargers out of those transit sheds because we do need those for storage of you know, rice and steel and things like that. And so what we're hoping is we can utilize some of the funding from EPA Clean Ports to move all those chargers to a different location that are more out of the way, to make our operations as efficient as possible. And so that's one of the things we're going to be focused on during the next couple of years is really trying to find the best place for charging infrastructure that is not in the way of our normal day-to-day operations.
No, that's a good point, Jeff. And the other thing I forgot to mention is that for the last few years now, we've been using renewable diesel in all of our forklifts as well. So that's been like, I think 3 years, maybe about 3 years or even more that we've transitioned from the regular diesel to renewable 99R and 95R, I think. So we've tried to just continue to mature and having a clean working environment at the port with you as our partner and then the community around us.
Yeah, I will say, you know, not you guys should shut your ears a little bit, SSA, but you know, to have partners like this is what we're looking for is folks who are ready to step up and make the transition. And there's a lot of folks too. I mean, this is all new technology, and it makes a lot of people nervous. And so the demonstration, I shouldn't say demonstration, but our putting all this equipment into operation in Stockton has kind of shown the rest of the world that hey, this can be done, and you know, you can move goods, you know, and heavy lifts and heavy loads with new zero emission technology. So we really appreciate SSA's support and partnership as we've developed over the last, what's it been, like six years. We've been working hard on this stuff, and so we just want to thank you guys very much for your willingness to jump into some of this stuff with us and work through it and be a leader in these efforts. So thank you guys so much for everything that you do.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you to the port and community.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Denise?
No, I'm good. Sorry.
We left 10 minutes for questions. If we don't have any questions, I don't know what we'll. All right. Well, thank you guys so much, SSA. We appreciate that presentation and updates, and we'll continue to look for, as we progress, further updates and additional information on and helping you reach your goals that you've set. And we look forward to seeing that happen.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Have a good weekend,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you again next month, and we'll provide some additional information and look forward. Oh, Mary Elizabeth is going to send over some more information on the Delta Aquatic Center tomorrow. And have we had any response to your comments? Have you had it? We have not had any response to our comments on GS.
FR, sorry, spello.
Yes, yeah. No worries. We have not had any comments or any response yet to our comments, other than I think they want to talk to us at some point, but I don't know that that's been scheduled yet.
Thanks, Port team. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you all. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next month.
You have a good weekend too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanksgiving to all who have served and given their lives.